Place the egg whites into the bowl of your electric mixer and then pour about 80 ml of water over 300 grams of caster sugar. Start heating the sugar in the water, then put 50 grams of caster sugar into the mixer with the eggs. Add a pinch of cream of tartar. You can then go ahead and start the mixer. Make sure you're using the whisk attachment. Use a thermometer in the saucepan just to check the temperature. You can stir it a little bit just to make sure that the probe is giving you a nice even reading. Keep checking the eggs. You want them to look nice and frothy and white. When the boiling sugar in the saucepan reaches 118 degrees, turn off the heat, remove the thermometer, let the bubbles settle slightly in the saucepan, and then slowly pour the syrup into the mixer. Keep pouring in a steady stream. When all the syrup's in the mixer, turn the speed up to high. Now you want to keep whisking to make a really nice stiff meringue. The bowl and the meringue are going to be really hot at first, and we basically want to carry on until the mixture starts to cool down a little. There's no need to wait until it's fully cool. We're going to be adding half chilled butter and half butter at room temperature. The chilled butter is going to help cool the meringue down. I've already chopped half of my butter and have placed it into the fridge so it stays cold. The rest of the butter is just sat out at room temperature and is much softer. By adding the cold butter, this is going to help bring the temperature of the meringue down, so there's no need to wait until it's completely cool, which can take quite a while, especially when you're making large batches. Just before you carry on, I like to always just mix around the outside of the bowl to make sure that the meringue's nice and even. Keeping the whisk attachment on the mixer, slowly start adding the lumps of butter. I normally just squish it a bit more in between my fingers before adding it to the bowl. Wait for the pieces to melt a little into the mixture before adding the next one. By now, after adding all the chilled butter, the meringue should be now down to room temperature. Once you've got to this stage, you can stop the mixer and just fold everything through with your spatula before carrying on. and then you can go ahead and start adding your butter at room temperature. When you've added about 90% of the butter, you might notice that your mixture is split a little bit. Don't worry, just keep on beating and it will come back together again. So now all the butter's mixed in and it's looking really lovely and creamy. Make sure you scrape down the sides of the bowl and just mix all around. You might need to continue if you find bits of butter that's not mixed in properly. If you're happy that everything's mixed in, remove the whisk and switch in for the paddle attachment. This will help just to beat back down any of the air bubbles, and it will also make a smoother, more velvety consistency. And that's it, now you're ready to use your buttercream. I always prefer to make my buttercream right before I need it. You can store it in the fridge overnight and you have about 2 days to use it, but you'll never quite get the result you're looking for. I always find that freshly made buttercream is much nicer to work with. If you do, however, have to put it in the fridge and bring it back out and use it the next day, what you need to do is let it come to room temperature. You could possibly also need to heat it very, very slightly just to make it more velvety again. Usually you'll notice that the buttercream, after it's sat there for a while, becomes kind of foamy and loses its velvety consistency, a bit like royal icing does when it's sat out for a while. You can heat it by putting it in a microwave set on very low temperature and just go in short bursts, maybe 5, no more than 6 or 7 seconds. Keep beating it in between. This should help make it come back nice and white again, because after it's been sat out for a while or even put in the fridge overnight, it actually goes more yellow in colour. Another way to heat it is by placing it back into the mixing bowl and using a hairdryer just to heat the outside of the bowl gradually as it's mixing around.